Good morning. Welcome to this Unitarian Universalist Church, which includes our congregations in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa and all of our folks online. Whoever you are, whoever you love, wherever you are today and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome here. To all who are here this morning, welcome home. The prelude prepares us for worship. Come, let us worship together. Let us open our minds to the challenge of reason. Open our hearts to the healing of love. Open our lives to the calling of conscience. Open our souls to the comfort of joy. We are astonished by the miracle of life, grateful for the gift of fellowship, confident in the power of our living faith. We are here gathered today. Let us celebrate together. And now, in the spirit of inclusivity and welcome, I invite you to take just a few moments to greet those around you. And folks online, please introduce yourself in our chat.
Good morning, everyone. Now let's please rise in body and or spirit and join in our opening song, number 293, O Star of Truth. Number 293 in the hardback book. O star of truth outshining, thou clouds of doubt and fear, I ask beneath thy guidance, my pathway may appear. However long the journey, however hard it be, though I be lone and weary, need not I follow thee. I know thy blessed radiance, and never lead astray. Though ancient creed and custom may point another way, or through the untrodden desert, over trackless sea, though I be lone and weary, lead on, I follow thee.
Good morning. First, I'm here on behalf of your Justice Committee for our Justice Minute, and then I will also lead us straight into the offertory. So if you don't like my voice, I'm sorry. Okay. I believe that all of us, if not most of us, have heard about the capturing and bringing of Venezuelan President Maduro to New York within the last day. If you have not, well, that's what happened. So, Indivisible Birmingham let us know that there is going to be a pop-up protest against this and against Donald Trump, our president's words that the United States is going to run Venezuela. And it's being put on by the DSA and other resistance groups, and that's happening today at 3:30 and 5 Points. And I also wanted to let everybody know that now more than ever is the time to speak up. It's the beginning of the new year. It's a time when a lot of people set resolutions and make new habits. And one of the best ways to set a new habit is to tie it to an old one. How many of you have a cell phone? Yeah, so how many of you use your cell phone for connecting with friends and family through calls, text messages, emails, social media? Great. I have an app for you. It's called 5 Calls. You put in your address, and it connects you with not only top issues, but who you need to contact, and it provides a script. So for example, I live in Calera, and at the very top one today for top issues says, stop the military escalation with Venezuela. It tells me I have 3 calls to make. It gives me what's happening, the background info with links. It gives me 3 people I should call. So it gives me Tommy Tuberville, Katie Britt, and Gary Palmer. It tells me who they are to me specifically. If I were to click on one of them, it says why you're calling this office, the exact script, and then the result, if they were unavailable, if you left a voicemail, or if you made contact. It tells you exactly what to do. It does not take long, especially because we know that a lot of the times they don't actually pick up, and you get to leave a voicemail. So it is my request to you, even if you don't do it through the 5 Calls app, that you try to make contact, phone call, email, letter, somehow, some way, very soon, about an issue that is important to you. Thank you. Hi, I'm Kylie Kerr, and I'm a member of your board. Please read the bottom of your connection card before you turn it in. We have lots of volunteer opportunities coming up. Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change our world for the better. If this is your first time with us, please just pass the plate. We're glad you're here. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. Today, we are sharing our plate with Alabama Arise, a statewide member-led organization advancing public policies to improve the lives of Alabamians who are marginalized by poverty. We appreciate your donations, either by placing them in the plate, by mailing your donation to the church, or by using PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. More information is found in the order of service in the lower right-hand corner. Thank you for your generous support of this church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and in hope.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mary Ann. Now is that time in our service where we celebrate our joys and we come together to observe our sorrows. For those of you in person, you are invited to come forward and drop a stone in our water in honor or memory of what is on your heart today. Please come forward. Folks online, please share yours in our online chat. Please join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Spirit of life and love, we are here because we believe that what we do matters. We believe how we live our lives matters. That with every act of kindness or meanness, courage or fear, love or hate, We are weaving the fabric of the universe that holds us all. We are here because we need encouragement. We need strength because so often we get distracted. We get in a rush. We don't think. We choose the easy way when the harder path is what our spirit truly longs for. We are here because none of us are perfect, but together we inspire one another to try again, to take another step. We are here because we have felt the stirrings of love and grace in our hearts and hands, and we crave more of that for ourselves, and not only for ourselves, but for everyone. We are here because how we live matters. Blessed be. Let us take a moment of silence together. Amen. May the children please come forward.
Good morning. I was like, I know there's kids in here. I'm going to scoot back just a tiny, tiny scooch. All the way over there. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hi. Did everybody have a good holiday season? Lots of fun? Did everybody get lots of sleep? Not enough. You were awake until 2026? You want to know something, Aria? I was not. I went to bed in 2025 and woke up as like, oh man, it's next year. Oh, playing Animal Crossing. Well, I have an animal to ask you about. You want to see what you know about this animal? Hi. So, what do you guys know about snails? Kind of an animal. What do you know about snails, Scarlett? They crawl, yeah. What do you know, Violet? Their shell protects them. What else, Liza? They eat leaves. Aria? They're a little slimy. Are they fast, Henry? Snails are fast, very fast. It's different. They're pretty slow, right? Thank you, Liza, for correcting your brother. I appreciate that. Ollie. Uh-huh. Okay. They're not like inchworms. They travel. They don't travel like inchworms. They just go. Sometimes I get interesting answers, y'all. Levi, what do you know about snails? Some people eat them in France. I ate some at Disney World once. I don't know. That is an excellent question. I regretted my decision. I know. It was, it tasted like garlic. Crickets. I have had chocolate covered crickets. Scarlett, are snails loud? They're quiet. They don't make a lot of noise, right? So I talk about snails. I talk about snails because they remind me of something that our guest speaker is going to talk about today. Our guest speaker, where is our guest speaker? I don't know. Hi. Oh, hi. I was like, where? So our guest, so they're going to talk about conscious. Do you know what a conscious is? No? Well, good, because I'm going to tell you a story. So our conscious is a part of us that helps us know right from wrong, kind of thing. It doesn't usually shout, though, because it's pretty quiet. And it doesn't flash bright lights. And most of the time, it moves kind of slowly and speaks kind of softly, kind of like a snail. It isn't slimy, thankfully. And generally, we don't eat it, even at Disney World. But a long time ago, there was a Unitarian Universalist named Theodore Parker. And when he was a child, he learned an important lesson about listening to that quiet voice inside of you, conscience. But instead of telling that story, I want you to imagine a different child. Walking along a road on a warm afternoon, the road was kind of dusty, and the sun was really, really bright, and the child was thinking about where they were going and wasn't really paying attention to much else. Maybe they were headed home. Maybe they were going to see a friend. Maybe they were just eager to get somewhere else. And then the child noticed something very small. What do you think they noticed, Liza? What do you think they noticed on their walk? A snail! Oh my gosh. Moving very slowly, trying to cross the road. Now, the child could have kept walking. They were busy. The snail was small. No one was watching. But inside the child, something stirred. Just 1 second, Scarlett. A small voice said, "Stop." And the child stopped walking. And another soft voice whispered, "Pay attention." The child looked again, and the snail was still moving slowly and carefully across the road, but that road was really dangerous. There was lots of people walking and like bicyclists and all sorts of things. Oh, that's kind of sharp and pointy. If someone came along, the snail could get hurt. So then a voice said one more thing, that quiet voice in their head, "Help." So the child gently picked up the snail, careful not to scare it, and carried it across the road. The child placed it in the grass. I can't talk today, y'all. Where it could be safe and shaded from the sun, and then get on its way. But the snail didn't clap. It didn't cheer. It didn't even say thank you. But the child felt something warm inside. What do you think they felt, Scarlett? Love. We can talk about stars in a different story, but this one's about snails. It's even in the daytime, so there's no stars. I mean, technically there are stars, but because the sun's bright, you can't see them, but that's a whole other story. I digress. So, well, we'll talk about it. Can we talk about it downstairs? Man, y'all, how much sugar did you give them this morning, people? Kidding. I joke. You know I love you. Oh, Aria had syrup, if that has any sugar in it. A lot of cookies. You know, I do this to myself. It's okay. So the snail didn't even say thank you, but the child felt something warm inside. It's not a loud happiness, but a quiet knowing that I did the right thing. Friends, the quiet knowing that you hear when you do the right thing is conscience. So our Unitarian Universalist faith tells us that each person has worth and dignity, right? Inherent worth and dignity. And that we are all connected. And when something small is in danger, part of us knows it matters. And when someone is left out, part of us notices. And when something feels unfair, part of us nudges us to act. Sometimes listening to our conscience is hard, though, like carrying something very, very heavy. It might mean stopping when others want to keep going. It might mean being kind when it's easier not to be. It might mean helping even when no one is watching. But every time we listen to that quiet voice in our head, are we listening to the quiet voice in our head? Hey, Liza. But every time we listen to that quiet voice, every time we act with compassion, we make the world a little bit safer, a little bit kinder, and a little bit more just. So this week, I invite you to listen to your snail slow voice. Aria, are you going to listen for your snail slow voice? You're going to listen for that this week? Listen to the soft one, the patient one, the one that says stop, pay attention, help. And when you hear it, may you trust it because the quiet voice has guided people of courage and love for generations. The end. Or you guys like to go outside? You heard it. Did it say it's time to go outside and play? Yes, it did. Excellent. So grown-ups, could you sing us downstairs? Each birth.
We are delighted to welcome N.S. Xavier to our pulpit this morning, speaking from the floor, however. A beloved friend of our church here in Birmingham. Dr. Xavier grew up in India, where he earned his bachelor's degree and finished medical school before moving to the University of Virginia to complete his residency in psychiatric training. He practiced psychiatry in Birmingham for 41 years until his retirement in 2020. His recent published work, Conscious Spirituality and Religion, is his fourth book on religion and mental health. It promotes conscience, our best inner guide, and explains ways to evade extremism and problems of irrational gratifications. It has endorsements from Father Richard Rohr and Rabbi Rami Shapiro and many other scholars, including our own Reverend Julie. Dr. Xavier has provided handouts this morning, so if you need one, please raise your hand and our ushers will give you one. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Xavier.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I thank Reverend Julie for giving me this opportunity. Good morning, friends. And namaste. You know, most of you might know. It means I salute you, the divine spirit in you. Now, I'll start with the... Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll start with the most fascinating, psychologically most fascinating story in the Bible. The story of the adulterous woman. One morning when Jesus was teaching some scribes and Pharisees, they brought a woman who was caught in adultery. And they reminded Jesus that she should be stoned to death according to the law of Moses. And Jesus just silently bent down and wrote something on the ground. And he stood up and said, "He among you who has not sinned, cast the first stone." And they left. You know, they left one by one, convicted by their own conscience, according to the King James Version. If we look at it psychologically, when the men were saying she should be stoned to death, they were judging her by the men's superego. Freud used that word superego to mean what we pick up from family and society as right and wrong. And then when Jesus challenged the men, first he calmed them down, because we can listen to the still small voice of conscience much better if we are calm. And then Jesus challenged them with, "He among you who has not sinned." So he was addressing them individually. So individually, so they had to get out of the group thinking. And then the way Jesus put the phrase, "He among you who has not sinned," so Jesus was applying the spirit of the golden rule and reason. And that's when individually they reflected using the reason and the golden rule, they were using conscience. That's when they left one by one. And we know Mahatma Gandhi, when his approach of non-violent protest, he was appealing to the conscience of the people. And Martin Luther King Jr. followed Gandhi's example of appealing to the conscience of the people. In fact, most of you may have read King's letter from the Birmingham jail, in which he explained that his non-violent activities were meant to stimulate the conscience of the community. So, and you can see that that approach made tremendous progress, tremendous change. We as individuals, what I have noticed as a psychiatrist is that when people don't use their conscience, there seem to be two main reasons. One is the superego. If the superego says one thing and it is against conscience, then a lot of people they choose by the superego. The other reason is what I call PIG, that is problem of irrational gratification, like addiction. In 1949, a historian and psychiatrist, Carl Jaspers, he noticed and he wrote about the axial age. Axial age is the historical time between 800 and 200 BC. Jaspers noticed that in different parts of the world during that time, great thinkers, great sages of the axial age, they promoted peace and harmony. They promoted the reason and the golden rule. They transcended the tribal ideology and identity and tribal conflicts and so on. These sages include Saurashtra. Saurashtra was, he lived a few centuries before the 800 BC, but he was considered a transitional figure. He promoted good thoughts, good deeds, good words. And you may know about King Cyrus, who liberated Jewish people from Babylonian captivity. He was not only good to Jewish people, he was good to every group. He gave freedom for different groups in his empire to practice their own religion. What is called the Cyrus cylinder is, I have a picture here, that is clay subject that he had written his plans of giving rights to different groups. So it is considered the first Bill of Rights. And King Cyrus is the only non-Jewish person who was considered a Messiah, anointed person. Then in China, Confucius and Lao say, in Greece, the great philosophers, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Incidentally, Socrates and Plato believed in reincarnation, and Aristotle laid the foundation for scientific research, for logic, for sociology, and for literary criticism. Greek drama, one very interesting thing about Greek tragedies was that they depicted the suffering of the enemies of the Greeks, like Persians, and the suffering of the enemies, and the audience were encouraged to cry out loudly in support of in empathy of the suffering of the enemies. Buddha was a Prince Gautama, who was protected by his father from exposure to suffering. And so at age 29, he got out of the palace grounds and he was exposed to 4 sights, like a sick person, an old person, a dead body being carried for funeral, and a wandering monk. These sights shook him out, and he went in search of meaning in life and cause of suffering. He tried ascetic approach for 6 years, and then when it didn't help him, he meditated for 7 weeks, and at the end of that, he became enlightened. The Buddha means enlightened person, and he taught the 4 Noble Truths and Eightfold Path. And one of the very interesting example of, the greatest example of a person using conscience is Emperor Ashoka. Ashoka was an aggressive person who he had killed some of his own siblings to gain power. Anyway, in the 8th year of his rule, he invaded a neighboring kingdom. Unlike the usual conquerors, he looked carefully at the suffering he caused. 100,000 people died, 150,000 people were displaced, and he felt very, very much guilt, and he used his conscience. He became a devout Buddhist, not a fanatic Buddhist, because he didn't impose Buddhism on his subjects. He encouraged and promoted dharma, that is, good conduct. And he sent missionaries, Buddhist missionaries, to other parts of the world. And he was very careful to do everything good for his subjects. He had provisions for education of women and uplift or disadvantaged minorities. He promoted digging of wells and planting of trees. He is considered the first environmentalist. Anyway, the historian H.G. Wells calls him the greatest king. Then talking about the other stages of the axial age, they included the writers of the Upanishads, the great Hindu philosophy. They taught about Brahman and Atman. Atman, the individual soul, and Brahman, the universal soul. And about karma. And let me quote a prayer from Aranyaka Upanishad, the prayer, Om, lead me from the unreal to the real, lead me from darkness to light, lead me from from death to immortality. Peace, peace, peace. Among the Jewish prophets, there were many sages of the axial age, like Prophet Jonah, who didn't obey God's instruction to go and tell Assyrians to change their behavior. Otherwise, God is going to punish them. Jonah didn't follow God's instructions. He went in the other direction and ended up in the belly of the fish. He learned a lesson from it, I guess, because the second time, after escaping from the belly of the fish, the second time God gave the same instruction. This time he followed it. Another prophet Hosea, who told Prophet Hosea that what is important is not animal sacrifice and rituals and ceremonies. What is important is for people to be compassionate. And Jesus quoted Hosea. God told Prophet Jeremiah that he will write his rules, his laws in human heart instead of on stone. And he told Prophet Ezekiel that he will change stony hearts to hearts of flesh. And so we can understand how St. Paul described conscience as judging by the law written in their heart. And as a psychiatrist, and in not only in my practice, but in reading different books and so on, I think the fruits of the fruits of the Spirit that St. Paul talked about, people who live by their conscience produce those fruits. The fruits: love, joy, peace, kindness, generosity, and so on. Okay. And it's a tremendous wisdom in the Bible, the statement, depart from evil and do good. And that is what conscience guides us to do. In fact, I have a sneaky suspicion that maybe the Unitarian Universalism started in the axial age because you don't seem to care much about dogmas and not so much about rituals, but about living by conscience, by ethical living. Thank you all.
Now, please rise in body and or spirit and join us in the closing song, number 190, Light of Ages and Nations, number 190. nations, every race and every time has received thine inspirations, glimpses of thy truth sublime, always spirits in rapt vision, as the heavenly veil within, always hearts bowed in contrition, found salvation from their sin. Reason's noble aspiration, truth in growing clearness saw, conscience spoke its condemnation, or proclaimed eternal law, while thine inward revelations told thy saints the prayers were heard, prophets to the guilty nations spoke thine everlasting word. Oh, that word abideth never, revelation is not sealed, answering now to our endeavor, truth and right are still revealed, that which came to ancient sages, Greek, barbarian, Roman, Jew, written in the soul deep pages, shine today forever new.
Please check. Oh, sorry. Please check out your order of service and your connection card for upcoming church events. A couple of announcements here. This Thursday, the Faith in Action Hub meeting will be held here at UUCB, and we need representation. Dinner is included, and Faith in Action will present their legislative agenda. You can also save the date to go to Montgomery on January 15th with Faith in Action as we advocate for our values in marginalized communities at the State House. If you'd like to learn how to navigate the state legislature better, ACLU Alabama is hosting a Work the Ledge session, and that is also in Montgomery on January 24th. Registration is required. Today is the final day to sign up for Circle Mixers for spring. If you'd like to make some new friends in the community, you can sign up to participate in Circle Mixers. That includes one dinner a month through April with different people in our community. There's a sign-up QR code in the order of service, but it's wrong. So you're going to want to use this top QR code on the connection card, or you can talk to Kylie, whose hand is raised. On the 21st of this month, Reverend Julie is hosting another Long Living Liberals Luncheon. So if you consider yourself long living, or you just are free that day and want to come hang out with our older members, please join us for this fun event. We also have one more, I think, special announcement. Yes, the Crest Drive stained glass collection, which is the beautiful artwork you see on our walls today, it's coming down today. So it is your last opportunity to walk around and look at these works and also make a purchase if you would like. Instructions are in the white 3-ring binder at the back. Our ushers are raising their hands. They have that for you. Be sure to verify that your piece has not been sold, and then make your check out to the artist and place it in an envelope. Patty Steelman is also here and is like helping liaise on this, as many of the pieces are hers. So you can also see her after service if you're interested. Proceeds from our sanctuary art exhibits are used by the decorating committee to beautifully furnish our church. Okay, and then lastly, this is not a formal announcement, but I am organizing the church auction, and I will have details coming soon. So we're planning to host this the first 2 weeks of February. So just please watch your ACE, and if you're on the UUCBHAM Facebook group, I'll also post information there. But people have been asking, so I just wanted to put it out there that it's coming. It'll be a fun spring fundraiser, and more information is coming soon. In honor of the legacy of our ancestors, let us carry the flame forward as we extinguish our chalice today. May we see all as it is. May it all be as we see it. May we be the ones to make it as it should be. If not us, who? If not now, when? This is answering the cry of justice with the work of peace. This is redeeming the pain of history with the grace of wisdom. This is the work we're called to do, and this is the call we answer today. To be the barrier and the bridge, the living embodiment of our principles, to be about the work of building beloved community, to be a people of intention and a people of conscience.